Commander. Commander in chief, or yeah, that's Ntlantlalax. He likes to say that. Yo, peace to Ntlantlalax, man. He's still that interesting individual that I also listen to, you know. But today I'm not going to be talking about books, ladies and gentlemen. Your commander, you know, with the Azisha cap, is going to be talking about, you know, two controversial orators. I would like to, you know, spice it up and call them orators. The first one is Andrew Tate, and the other one is Kevin Samuels. As we all know, these are very controversial people. The things they've said have basically hit incredible numbers on the internet, and they have garnered, you know, a lot of followers as a result. But I, you know, I've been really thinking about these two individuals and, you know, their impact on just the psyche of the people and their effect on the spirit of the time and what they're really, really cooking up for us. You see, not to say that they are wrong. It's not about who's wrong. It's not about who's right. I never thought of it in that sense, you know. It's about what works, you know. And if we were to be, you know, the bigger person, how would we look at these situations? I mean, you could be right that maybe a woman's body count really does devalue her. You could say that a man's status and, you know, success could be affecting his chances of mating or having, you know, sexual partners. And that's all true. I mean, we know that, you know, the Matrix has designed, you know, a hierarchy of some sort that we have to fall under, and we all sort of like follow the rules of that hierarchy. I won't deny that. That's all fact. But we need to understand, you know, the human factor that these two guys are missing. Now, when you speak to a woman who is, in a way, emotionally broken, or when you speak to a woman who is maybe previously abused, or, you know, in any sense of the word abuse, by the way, you know, it could be any form, physical, emotional, you know, all of that. That you are speaking to that. You're speaking to a person who is socially conditioned, you know, to exist in a certain environment, in a certain epoch. You are speaking to an individual who is constantly bombarded with advertising. You are speaking to an individual who believes in the spirit of, you know, the rules that are brought to us by, you know, the hierarchy, you know, that we all have to, the hierarchy of capitalism. And these are all the facts. I mean, guys like, you know, Jordan Peterson have looked at the behavioral science, or, you know, the I guess the behavior of the animal kingdom, in a sense, the greater or bigger animal will have more mating partners, and that's the harsh, I guess, natural selection. Yes, the harsh, you know, truth that comes with natural selection. And so, you know, these are some of the things that we don't have a control over. But I do think that, you know, what these conversations are missing is that the environment as we exist within it shapes our perspectives, it shapes our ideas, our ideals, and what we eventually wish to become. What is cool, what is trending, all of these things are all part of the fabric that forms, you know, our I guess, how can I put this word? Our mindset, our behavior as we know it today. And I just wanted to speak to that. So when you listen to Andrew Tate as an African person from the township, or as an African person in South Africa or in Africa, or maybe, I don't know. I've never been in the States, so I cannot speak for them. I have never been in Europe, so I cannot speak for them. I've never been in Asia, so I cannot speak to them. the dynamics or the social dynamics are quite different. But in Africa, we have been socially conditioned by things such as apartheid, things such as unemployment, things such as there's certain cultural norms as well that really add to the confusion, and people have gone through all sorts of things to be where they are, and unfortunately another thing that we need to look at is that the hand of life does not deal fairly. You understand? So you will have a messed up hand, and you have to do what you want, do whatever you can with that hand, regardless of where you were left. And maybe let me not say where you were left, but let me say where you were thrown by life. So I mean, two kids are born every day, right? Different environments, different spaces, different sets of beliefs, all different. One is born in Senton, the other one is born in Kuzo. These two people didn't choose their circumstance. The other one you would say is born with advantages, and the other one is born with disadvantages. And both these two people will define success differently. One will say, oh no, as long as I have a job and I can work, and I can just feed my wife and my kids, if they happen to have that privilege, then I am blessed. And the other one will say, see, if I can build like a very huge company that makes it into the stock exchange and whatever, then I am successful. These are two contrasting views, contradicting stories, but both of them speak of the same thing or the same aim, which is success. We don't choose how we are born. We don't choose where we come from. And these are the things that we need to be really aware of. So when you speak to a woman and you tell her of how, her laying with more than 20 guys has basically devalued her, you need to be conscious of the fact that this person came from a certain background. Certain things happened to them. Certain beliefs were stoked in them. And that's how they ended up behaving. And that's what they thought, was the right thing for them. I'm no moral judge in any sense of the word. I will never explain life. I don't know what it all means. But the experiences that these people have had in their lives have shaped who they are. So them actually laying with other men, or many men for that matter, does not necessarily make them evil or, damaged people or whatever like that. The word you want to use. A lot of us are damaged. A lot of us come from broken families. A lot of us come from, alcoholic mothers and fathers, or, junkie, mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, and all sorts of, things that happen in life. And these are the things that shape our human experience. And how we approach life is based off that. So what I'm basically saying is we need to think about the things that we say to each other on these social media apps. And the things that we believe need to be in line with our experience. Because, see, a lot of us you usually read, Western books, right? But the Western books, are not speaking to our plight. They are not speaking to our problems. A lot of them are speaking to the problems of an American setting or an environment like America. So that's what the author is writing from. So if you were to write an entrepreneurial book in South Africa, that book would be a very different book, because you are speaking to a different market, a different social culture, just a different way of living. And all of these factors play a part in what it means, to run a business. Just for example, that's just an example. And therefore it's the same with our social upbringing and living, is that certain things will not happen for you. not because you know you don't deserve them, but because life has dealt you a hand. If God didn't make you good looking, it's unfortunate for you. It's what comes with life. If God didn't, if you were ignorant as a young woman, and you slept with a lot of men, and now all of a sudden you can't secure a husband, you must learn to accept yourself as that person who didn't. You don't have to bash men and call them names and whatnot. Same goes for me. If a sister has slept with maybe more than enough guys, and you feel like there's something wrong with it, you don't have to bash her. You don't have to call her names. You can just simply excuse yourself from her, and then I think the both of you will have a better time, just living your lives. Because we need to understand this is what happened. We didn't choose this life. It chose us for some odd reason. And whatever we are going through, or the things that we are going through, do not have to make us monsters, towards other people. And I know this is the very savage environment that we have created as a human species. In a sense, we all make each other feel like we are lurking something. And that's true. Maybe we are. Maybe we don't have the same opportunities. Maybe we are not given the same privileges. Like, some of you are good looking, more good looking than the rest of us. Some of you come from better backgrounds than the rest of us. Some of you went to private schools and all of that. These are all the privileges that the Most High, your environment is given to you. You don't have to be, I don't want to use cuss words, but you don't have to be that. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to be that. You can just be thankful to the Most High, to God, to the universe, to whoever you pray to say, thank you, for allowing me to have 1, 2, and 3 privileges while other people don't. While other people are born with, I guess, deficiencies, they have no control over. They had no control over that. How they were raised, it doesn't, and trying to speak some sense into them by bashing into them will just make it worse. It's not helping anyone. So I'm not trying to say, no, fellas, drop your standards. I'm not trying to say, sisters, drop your standards. I'm just saying that, these two men should not shape your reality, and should not, be the last, or, the word that you hear and believe that, oh, these women are quote unquote hoes or bitches, or, all these other words that we use, to describe these sisters, without acknowledging the experience, without acknowledging the hardships of life, without acknowledging the harsh reality of life. And I think if we can just be more compassionate and more understanding and more, I guess, realistic about life and our situation and our just, underdeveloped, minds, we need to understand that life is harsh, and whatever we experience now, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. Whatever happened, happened, and it's happening to us. And so we need to understand that these guys don't have all the answers. They're just like the rest of us. They are biased. They have insecurities. They don't always see things clearly. Although the things they say they're true, sometimes, or most of the times, it does not necessarily mean that they're not damaging to people. Understand? Because, man, the name calling out here is wicked. Understand? So, yeah, man, I just wanted to speak about that quickly. and just let everybody know. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Take care.